When anthropologists unearth human skulls from 50,000 years ago, they find something that makes modern dentists freeze. Crowded and impacted teeth were incredibly rare. Unlike us, their jaws simply had enough room for every tooth to fit naturally. They didn't have braces, they didn't have palate expanders, they didn't have oral surgery to rip out their wisdom teeth. Every single tooth grew exactly where it was supposed to. Today, a vast majority of modern humans have malocclusion. That is the clinical term for teeth that don't fit in your mouth. We just accept it. We assume it's normal. We blame bad genetics, but you were lied to. Your DNA is not broken. The real reason your mouth is too small for your teeth is sitting on your dinner plate. Think about the physical pain you endured just to have a normal smile. The metal brackets cutting your cheeks, the tightened wires, the anesthesia and surgery to extract molars buried in your gums. We treat this as a standard rite of passage, but if you ask a biological anthropologist, they will tell you something deeply unsettling. This is not a genetic disease. This is an environmental mismatch. Genetics do not change overnight. It takes millions of years to alter the fundamental structure of a skeleton. Yet, human jaws began shrinking rapidly just 10,000 years ago. In evolutionary time, that is a blink of an eye. Something changed the physical shape of the human face. To understand what broke, you have to look at how bone actually works. Most people think of bones as dead architecture, like the wooden beams inside a house. Once they are fully grown, they just sit there, holding you up. But bone is alive. It is active tissue, and it follows a strict biological rule called Wolff's Law. Julius Wolff was a 19th century anatomist who discovered something brilliant. Bone adapts to the pressure placed upon it. If you lift heavy weights, your arm bones physically become denser to handle the load. If you go to space, in zero gravity, your bones dissolve because they don't feel any resistance. Your jaw operates on the exact same principle. It needs mechanical stress to grow. Without force, the bone stays small, and this is where the mismatch begins. Let's go back 300,000 years. Your ancestors were hunter-gatherers. Their diet was tough, incredibly tough. They ate raw roots, dense tubers, wild game, and fibrous plants. Anthropologists estimate that early humans chewed for hours every single day, just to break down enough calories to survive. Every time they bit down, their masseter muscles, the powerful muscles at the back of the jaw, fired. They generated immense force. That force traveled straight into the jawbone. Day after day, year after year, throughout their entire childhood. Because of Wolff's Law, the jawbone responded to that extreme mechanical stress. It grew wider. It grew longer. It built a massive, thick arch of bone. By the time an ancient human reached adulthood, their jaw was a fortress. And because it grew so wide, there was plenty of room for all 32 teeth, including the wisdom teeth. They didn't become impacted because they didn't have to fight for space. The space had been built for them, built by the act of chewing. Now, look at how you grew up. The shift didn't happen all at once. It started roughly 10,000 years ago with the agricultural revolution. We stopped hunting and gathering. We started farming. We invented pots to boil grains. We turned tough wild plants into soft wheat and rice. For the first time in human history, our food became softer. And immediately the fossil record shows a change. Skulls from early farming communities show a sudden spike in crooked teeth. Their jaws were slightly smaller than the hunter-gatherers who lived right before them, because they were chewing less. But agriculture was just the beginning. What happened in the last 200 years is the real catastrophe. The Industrial Revolution completely destroyed the mechanics of eating. We invented steel roller mills that stripped grains of their tough bran. We invented pressure cookers, blenders, and food processors. We began ultra-processing everything we consume. Think about what a modern child eats during the most critical years of bone development. Applesauce from a squeezable plastic pouch. Macaroni and cheese. Soft bread with the crusts cut off. Chicken nuggets. Yogurt. Everything melts in the mouth. It requires almost zero mechanical effort to swallow. Harvard evolutionary biologist Daniel Lieberman calls this the masticatory functional hypothesis. It sounds complicated, but the premise is terrifyingly simple. We have engineered the act of chewing out of our lives because children today eat incredibly soft, processed diets. Their jaw muscles are barely working. They are not generating the thousands of pounds of repetitive force that their ancestors did. Because the force is gone, Wolff's law never triggers. The jawbone doesn't get the biological signal it needs to grow, so it stays narrow. It stays short. Your jaw is physically underdeveloped. But here is the catch. While jaw size is determined by mechanical stress, tooth size is strictly determined by genetics. Your teeth don't care how much you chew. They are programmed by your DNA to grow to a specific, predetermined size. So you have 32 massive ancient teeth trying to erupt into a small, underdeveloped modern jaw. It is a biological collision. There is simply nowhere for them to go. They crowd together. They turn sideways. They become impacted in the gums, and we pay surgeons to cut them out, thinking our bodies have somehow failed us. But your body didn't fail. It did exactly what it was programmed to do. It adapted to the environment you gave it. You just gave it an environment it wasn't designed for. The consequences of this go far beyond a crooked smile. It changes how we breathe. When the jaw doesn't grow properly, the palate, the roof of your mouth, stays narrow. But the roof of your mouth is also the floor of your nasal cavity. A narrow palate means a restricted nasal airway. You can't pull in enough oxygen, so you open your mouth. This changes the resting posture of your tongue, causing the jaw to grow even narrower. It is a vicious, collapsing cycle. This underdeveloped airway is a primary reason sleep apnea has become a modern epidemic. Millions of people stop breathing in their sleep every single night simply because their airways are too small. We treat it with CPAP machines, forcing air down our throats to keep us alive until morning. We treat the symptom because we don't want to look at the cause. This is the ultimate evolutionary mismatch. We used our massive brains to make the world easier. We conquered the food chain. We learned to process calories so efficiently that we never have to struggle to eat. But in doing so, we removed the physical resistance that our bodies relied on to build themselves. We thought we were hacking survival. We thought we were creating comfort. Instead, we accidentally engineered a world that our skeletons are not strong enough to live in. Every time you see someone wearing braces, you are looking at the scars of industrialization. Every time you struggle to breathe through your nose, you are feeling the ghost of a hunter-gatherer jaw that never had the chance to grow. We didn't inherit bad teeth. We inherited a world that is quietly dismantling us.